bheja has been cleaned well and has been cooked well as well. The masala in this balances the intense flavor of that bheja. This is a nihari that's deep in its flavors. So we are here in the oldest part of Hyderabad and we are in this area called Chatta Bazaar, which is very near Madina building, and we've come here to taste authentic Hyderabadi khana. And we've come here to Hotel Nayab that's been around since 1986. So I'm looking forward to tasting some spicy, appetizing Hyderabadi khana here at Hotel Nayab. So let's go in and check out the fare here at Hotel Nayab. How are you? So I'm here with Omar Aziz, and it was Omar Aziz's father who began Nayab.
Who started Nayab.
And how did that happen?
It happened a long time back.
Okay.
In '86.
In 86.
I was not even born at that time.
So Omar, what are some of the most popular dishes here?
In Hyderabad, most popular is the mutton dum biryani, and other than that, the nahari.
The nahari.
Nahari, which you also know as paya soup. Or
So जो nahari जो बनता है वो सवेरे का, the morning nahari, is that different from the evening nahari?
No. It's the same.
It's the same.
It is the same. So basically ये nahari जो है, it is for the breakfast.
Correct.
मगर थोड़ा कस्टमर्स के लिए रात में भी रखना पड़ता है, तो इवनिंग 6 o'clock से almost morning 8 o'clock तक you can have the nahari.
Because traditionally you eat the nahari to get some strength, right, in the morning. So
It is for the strength.
strength, vitality,
The juice of the crowders is very good for health.
all that gelatin, everything that comes out of that.
अभी एक नई चीज़ 1-2 साल पहले we have introduced something which is called as the malai paya.
Malai paya.
Malai paya or the paya masala, which locally known as the paya masala.
So what is special about the food here? क्या खासियत क्या है यहाँ के खाने में?
It's a bit spicy.
थोड़ा मसालेदार होता है.
थोड़ा मसालेदार होता है यार.
क्यों लेकिन? Is that यहाँ पे जो preference होता है वो थोड़ा
थोड़ा spicy.
थोड़ा ज़्यादा जायका
ज़्यादा होता है. The salt is a bit more, the spice is a bit more. So people over here like to be a bit spicy.
तो हैदराबादी खाने में थोड़ा सा झटका स्पाइस का जरूरी है.
जरूरी है, झटका जरूरी है.
Lovely. So he was just telling me that when it comes to the cuisine here in Hyderabad, people like their food with a little more kick, with a little more spice, and that's the reason why when you taste Hyderabadi khana, you get that spicy jhatka, that spicy kick. So as you can see here, you can see the nihari or the paya soup, and on top here you have a thin layer, a thin veil of fat. Now that's the fat, that's the rogan that emerges from the paya as it is being cooked, and that rogan is spicy. That's what I hear from Omar, and he says it's spicy because it's also the spices that have got into the paya that slowly bubble, that slowly rise to the surface along with that rogan. I can't wait to taste this paya soup and of course also that paya masala. तो आपने इन्वेंट किया, आपके यहीं पे हुआ है locally. Okay.
This is tradition. That's innovation.
That's innovation. So you have to marry the two.
We have to merge the two.
Merge the two.
Merge the two.
Very well said. So you've got to bridge tradition and innovation, so you keep it exciting, I guess, to make sure that customers flock to your establishment, as I can see here at Hotel Nayab. Can we also watch a paya masala being made?
Yeah, obviously. Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
So can we take a look at your kitchen?
Please.
Alright, so let's go into the kitchen here and take a look at some delicious food being prepared. Let's go. We are watching the making of that paya masala, which is an innovative dish here at Nayab. You got the oil, you got the onions, you got the tomatoes, and you got a couple of curry leaves just to give that aroma. फिर गया पाया. अच्छा. So there's some tomato sauce that's gone into the kadai, some namak, mirchi, pepper भी गया थोड़ा बहुत, chaat masala. Lovely. So there you go, you have the paya masala. Ghee. Acha, that's the malai or cream. So next we're going to watch the making of another popular dish here at Hotel Nayab, and that's the Bheja Fry. There's some ginger garlic paste that has gone in and some tomatoes as well. Acha, इसमें हरी मिर्ची, red chili powder, namak. You can see that gooey custardiness of that bheja, of that goat brain as it's being cooked. Having watched some of those dishes being cooked, especially that warm, comforting nihari simmering away, I can't wait to begin my meal, and I'd like to begin my meal here with the nihari and the bread, the sheermal. So the restaurant outside is buzzing, but we're sitting in the quieter family section, which is also air conditioned. So we have all the dishes that we've ordered and some more. Of course, we have the nihari, which I'm waiting to dunk this sheermal into. And then you have a modern take on the nihari. This is the malai paya, a recent invention, but a dish that looks rich in its texture, taste and also appeal. We have two variations of the bheja or the goat brain, and this is the bheja masala, and this is another variation of the bheja masala, but this is made with black pepper. And I'm told this is popular, especially this time of the year, just to get you feeling good with that nice peppery zing. And then of course you have the tala hua gosht, which is the lamb, which is fried, and last but not the least, we have the dal here. So I'm going to begin with the nihari right here. You can see that rogan float to the top, wailing that nutritious broth underneath. You can see the brista, the fried onions. There's of course some coriander as well for garnish. Can't wait to taste this. That is as nourishing as a nihari can get. I'm told the nihari is especially popular this time of the year when it's raining, it's slightly cold, and you want that warmth from inside. You want that comforting nourishment that your body needs. And that's why the nihari is especially popular. And this nihari just fits the bill. That rogan on top serves well just to round off the flavors of this nihari. And you also have the burnt onions that you can taste, the brista and that coriander. This is a nihari that's deep in its flavors. Next we're going to take the sheermal, the bread that's perfect to dunk into the nihari. As you can see, this bread is almost spongy, just the right texture to soak up all that nourishing nihari. Just dunk it all the way in. Let the sheermal sit in the nihari and soak in all the goodness. All that you need on a cold day, on a rainy day, is a bowl of nihari and some wonderful sheermal. This sheermal is just perfect. It's got the perfect crunch on the outside and it's got this perfect spongy inside, which is a result of the dough being fermented. Here the key to a good sheermal and to get that spongy texture is to make sure that you ferment this dough for a while. We also have that mildest of tart edges, and it allows that spongy nature, the spongy texture of this bread to develop, thereby making it the perfect medium to dunk into that nutritious bowl of nihari. I can feel the weight of the nihari on this piece of bread. That's a delicious bite. I would have loved to get cozy with this nihari and the sheermal, but we have all these other dishes to taste as well. And this is the malai paya, or the paya masala as it's more popularly known. So it's got a bit of the nihari, and of course it's got the trotters, it's got the paya that you can see right here. So it's got all that gelatiny goodness tossed in a rich gravy and topped with some malai. The thing to do is to have it with a piece of this butter naan. That's a nihari that's completely transformed. I want to get some of the goodness of that gelatinous trotter into my next bite. The trotters just melt in your mouth. This is certainly an indulgent take on the otherwise austere paya. I love the texture of the paya. It's rendered just perfectly. It's cooked to that point where you place it in your mouth and it magically disappears in a silken web of deliciousness. That's what this paya masala is all about. So if you like your paya rich, indulgent, creamy, then the paya masala is for you. But if you like it more austere, then go for the traditional nihari with the paya. Next we're going to taste the bheja, the goat brain. We also have the pepper version, but this is the traditional version that's made year round. I love the custardy gooiness of bheja. I'm going to taste the brain just by itself. That brain masala is as light as air. It just leaves behind that delicious lip-smacking custardy flavor of that brain. Oh, this is cooked just perfectly. I'm going to taste this with some butter naan. It also has this unctuous, smoky sort of a flavor. Just disappears into delicious nothingness on the palate. It's as delicate as that. Next we're going to taste the Kali Mirch or the black pepper version of the bheja fry here. As you can see, it's got a copious amount of black pepper that this goat brain has been cooked in. You can certainly feel the gentle heat of the black pepper at the back of your throat as you taste this version of the bheja. You know what I love is that this bheja is cooked beautifully well. There's none of that slightly funky, if I could call it that, sometimes mildly off-putting to some raw animal flavor. This bheja has been cleaned well and has been cooked well as well. The masala in this balances the intense flavor of that bheja. You know, to me, both these versions of the bheja masala are winners. It's very difficult to pick a favorite. This has more of the heat that comes from the red chili and it's a little more aggressive. It's a little more spicy, more Hyderabadi in its nature. But this is one, the black pepper version is one where the heat rises gently in your throat and you know that's the doing of the black pepper that's in the bheja. Next we're going to try the tala hua gosht or the shallow fried mutton. So these, I'm told, are boneless chunks of mutton that are tossed in a masala. I must say that meat is cooked very well. This tala hua gosht has a tart edge, and of course you have that spices. It reminds me a bit of an achari sort of a preparation. I guess again this would be the perfect dish to mop up with a piece of roti or some butter naan in this case. This is delicious. Next we're going to taste some of the dal fry here. This looks like a nourishing lentil preparation. You can see the rajma here, and I'm told there are 3 or 4 dals, lentils that go into it. This is a thick, rich sort of dal fry. Even as I spoon it into my plate and I see the garnish and I see the 2 or 3 lentils that I see here, I know this is going to be a rich, comforting sort of a dal. You know, it's a tasty dal and I like the fact that you have that bite of that rajma. So you bite into that rajma and it kind of gives it an interesting texture. But what's also interesting about this dal fry here is that it's not your typical North Indian style dal fry. This is a dal fry that's perhaps more rooted in the south, right from the tempering and that slight tart edge that you have. Certainly makes for a tasty dal fry. Of course, to end our meal here at Nayab, we have to taste the biryani, the Hyderabadi biryani, the Kachi Akhni biryani. As I always say, taste the rice first, because that rice needs to trap all the flavors of that biryani. You get the aromas. When the rice cooks in a traditional Hyderabadi biryani, you have all the aromas that waft up from the meat which is at the bottom of the pot, and all that wafts up and finds itself trapped in the rice, and that's what lends the rice of a traditional Hyderabadi Kachi Akhni biryani that fulsome flavor. It's a flavor of the meat vapor that is trapped in the rice. And if you like a little more flavor, reach for that masala that's threaded through this biryani and mix that well into your rice. Every grain of rice is separate, every grain of rice holds its own. And now to taste some of that meat. And you can see all that masala, all that spicing that's gone into this meat, into the marination of the meat. But all that spicing, all that marination doesn't take away from the flavor of the meat, which is what you taste. This meat has a bit of a bite, refuses to part easily, but we're going to taste some of that meat with the rice. Because we also have the salan, not to forget, and of course some raita in case the heat gets to you. But I find that this flavorful biryani needs none of that. I've got another piece of meat here, and this piece of meat is encased in a sheath of fat. Fat is always good because that's really where the flavor is. The fat allows the flavor of the meat to develop on the palate. So you need a little bit of fat when you're tasting your meat. If you don't like your fat, well, you're missing a big component of that flavor that comes from meat. So I've got a piece of the meat here with that rice. You can taste the spices, you can taste the clove that's gone into this. I like these morsels of meat. Kind of makes the flavor of the biryani travel that much longer. I'm going to ferret out another piece of meat just to explore this biryani a little more. This piece of meat is hot to the touch. A wee bit taxing to the bite. The meat otherwise packs in all the flavors of the marinade that it's been soaked in, allowing though for the flavor of the meat to shine. Since we have the salan here, we should taste some of that, the mirchi ka salan. The salan has this mild, almost pickled sort of flavor, and just to round off things, some raita. So a meal here at Hotel Nayab has to end, but of course with a khubani ka meetha, or the stewed apricots with some fresh cream on top. When you taste the apricots just by itself, it feels a tad syrupy, but when you take some of that malai, and with some of the almonds that come from the apricot seeds, that balances beautifully against the sweetness of the apricots. And the apricots are nicely chilled, making for a refreshing dessert. You know, I love the nuttiness that emerges from these apricot kernels. They're toasted, much smaller than almonds, but they pack, in my opinion, twice the flavor. It breaks the monotony of the apricot on the palate. I think this is a perfect dessert to end your meal here at Hotel Nayab. So if you're looking to taste some delicious traditional Hyderabadi cuisine, make sure you visit the old part of the city and indulge in a delightful meal here at Hotel Nayab. Until the next episode of Gourmet on the Road, stay safe and happy eating. At Food Lovers TV, my team and I work hard to produce engaging food and travel videos. If you like our work, do check out our Patreon page where you can pledge a nominal sum in lieu of special privileges like behind the scenes footage, early video release, exclusive Q&As, merch and much more. For more info, check out the link in the description below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, share, like and leave a comment here. Happy eating!